Welcome to Seth University presents the Covid Chronicles. My name is Seth. During the pandemic, I moved across the country back home to Memphis, Tennessee. Since I've been home, I continued my interest in researching Black queer folks and how we create space. Specifically, I'm interested in how we recreated sexual spaces during the pandemic. For example, I've been studying Martin Luther King Jr. Riverside Park, an infamous cruising spot in Memphis. I question why this park is so popular amongst queer men. This also leads me to question more about queer identity, how Black queer people were navigating risks and hooking up during the lockdown. I interviewed queer sexual culture experts about their cities, the pandemic, and the work they do. These interviews took place in Memphis, Chicago, and Atlanta between January 2021 and 2022. They start the weekend after the unofficial Black Gay Atlanta holiday, Martin Luther King Jr. weekend in 2021, and conclude during my trip to Atlanta for MLK Jr. Day in 2022. These are the Covid Chronicles. Inspired by the work of Central Park's creator, Franklin Olmsted, George Kessler designed Riverside Park in 1902 as a part of his grand design for the Memphis Park system. However, most of the funding and attention went towards Overton Park rather than Riverside Park. Riverside Park became a day trip destination for white Memphians. Black people were prohibited from visiting Riverside Park due to Jim Crow laws at the time, back when Black lives mattered less than they do now. Look at some of the vintage postcards from the historic Memphis website. It's worth noting that 3 years earlier, in 1889, Robert Reed Church, the South's first Black millionaire, invested in Church Park, which contained a playground and a large concert hall where Black theatrical groups could perform for Black folk. Guests such as Booker T. Washington, President Teddy Roosevelt, and W.C. Handy all spoke at the Church Hall. In another testimony to accidental intersectionality, Mid-South Pride is held in Robert Church Park every year. This park still exists close to Church's brainchild, the world-famous Beale Street. On the premiere episode of the three-part series, The Covid Chronicles, I talked to content creator Memphis Strokes about the Memphis queer scene and his work. This interview was filmed in Memphis, January 2021. Memphis Strokes and I discussed queer places in Memphis, the Bible Belt, sex work, and sex parties.
You went out of town for Martin Luther King Day.
I went to Atlanta. So Atlanta what is that? Is that my? I gotta make sure I look right. What's that? Oh, that's my app. I'm sorry. Sorry. I thought I wasn't right on camera, but that's an app. Do you see that line right there?
No.
Okay, I'm sorry. And this is 45. This is 45. Okay, so this past weekend is like a mini Pride for Atlanta. Why MLK weekend? Who knows? So I went to Atlanta for MLK weekend, and people come from all around the city and just enjoy being gay.
Now, what does that mean? What does that consist of? Because I feel like I'm being gay sitting on this chair, but what do you mean?
So here's the difference. Some of us are from cities or towns or locations that are not as gay friendly as Atlanta is. So even though we may be as gay as we want to be inside of our homes, we can't go to the mall and let it all hang out.
Mm-hmm.
We can't go, hang out in the park and let it be, because, we feel we have to be respectful of people that are there as well. But in Atlanta, it's an all-inclusive type place. So you can go to the Mexican restaurant up the street and have on a blonde wig, and they're going to speak to you and say, hey, girl. and that's why people flock to Atlanta. And I love it because I'm from Memphis. I can't be as gay as I want to be all the time here.
So is that what you went to Atlanta for? Is to, hang out and be gay at the Mexican restaurant and at the mall? Or is that the only thing you did?
Actually, in my day, in this current day and time, I'm a little older than that. I go because I know there are going to be a lot of gays there doing those things. and I need business, so I know there's easy access to business.
So you went to Atlanta to do business. What type of business are you in?
Porn, amateur porn.
Well, okay, like in the OnlyFans,
Uh-huh.
but Breed It Raw era, what is amateur versus professional?
So professional these days
Mm-hmm.
is you you will record with a company that actually produces porn videos. They pay the actors one fee up front, and regardless what they make off of it, how long that video lasts, you get nothing else, no royalties, nothing from it, but what they pay you up front. OnlyFans, which is the way to which is the easiest way to produce amateur porn, you may make money off of that video for 3 months.
So
And you make way more. You make way more than you would with the production companies.
So, with the work that you did in Atlanta, were you contacted or did you contact them, or how does the work come about?
So, so when you get to a certain level of popularity or fame or
Clout,
desire, you don't have to look for nothing, baby. They look for you. Okay?
Where did they look for you?
Where? I mean, Twitter. I am accessible on Jacked. I'm accessible on Facebook. I'm accessible on any social media site. I mean, I let people know that I'm going there, just like you knew I was there. Everybody else knows I'm there.
Well, I knew because you told me you were going, but I also know because I follow your Twitter account, Memphis Strokes.
And I put it on Twitter that I'm going to Atlanta for the weekend. So those that want to record or those that want to be with Memphis Strokes could be with Memphis Strokes.
Now, can these people be with Memphis Strokes just because they want to be? Can they do they have to pay a price?
Now,
is there some type of process that they have to go through to be screened? Like what? How does one get with Memphis Strokes via Twitter?
First and foremost, it's all about looks. I'm the decider. I decide. If you look a certain type of way, you move to the front of the line. Okay? Okay? So fuck all that other shit. Fuck all that paying. You ain't gotta pay. You ain't gotta my best sex is not on camera. I had sex with this couple this weekend. Oh my God. My God.
Well, was it everything? Why was it everything?
Whew, when I tell you that this was two men. Men's.
Not boys. Two men.
Not boys.
Men.
Two men that go to the gym regularly.
Mm-hmm. Body.
If you passed them in the grocery store, you probably would look the other way because you knew they wasn't going.
Well, they went, and how was it?
Took the dick better than the women's I met.
Well, that's very common.
Is it? Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I was married to a woman for a long time, so I don't know a lot of things.
Okay. Now you don't know.
I was straight. I was DL.
So what is the scene like in Memphis? We talked about that briefly last couple weeks back, but I think you've had more time to think about, especially in comparison to Atlanta or something.
I love my city. I support my city, but Memphis in any area is behind the times. You still got people in Memphis that can't be gay or can't be free or can't be themselves because the culture in Memphis is family, church, and work. Family, church, and work.
Mm-hmm.
So those three things keep a lot of people from being themselves, from being free, and from doing what they want to do.
Mm-hmm. Now, okay, so I can look at that in a couple of ways. So one way is the way folks dress, where they hang out, how they can even laugh and kiki with their friends in public or not. What about the sexual scene? Like, for instance, you were able to meet up with this couple, you were able to do some work while you were in Atlanta. Is there work available in Memphis outside of your own OnlyFans work, or what's the scene?
Well, I do have a job in Memphis.
Mm-hmm.
It's not sex related at all, and I dare not mention what it is because, like I just said, Memphis is that city that you don't combine the two.
Mm-hmm.
Memphis is very limited.
Mm.
You have to be cautious. And
what do you mean?
So, like, I meet people all the time in Memphis that say that they would if they could.
Now, what is wood? Is that a physical sexual thing, or is it a performance day-to-day life thing? What do you mean?
That ain't shit to me because I can't make no money off of wood. I would be the president of the United States, but I'm not. Okay?
So let's
I would be a millionaire. I would be a millionaire if I had the money. Wood don't do nothing for me.
This is true, and wood certainly hadn't done shit for me lately. But what
okay.
I ask again, what do you feel that people won't do in Memphis that they will do in Atlanta?
Whoa, God. When's the last time you had brunch on a Sunday in a restaurant in Memphis, and when you walked in, it was full of gay and gay-friendly people, and you felt at home when you walked in? When's the last time you had that in Memphis?
Even before COVID. No, I get what you mean.
Even
you can find a restaurant, like a soul food restaurant, where families are after church, but you're not going to find no.
Let me just tell you this. Mm-hmm. First and foremost, even during COVID, Atlanta is still like that.
I believe that.
Secondly, Memphis had, so like, let's take Side Street. I'm sure you've heard of Side Street.
Mm-hmm.
Side Street was a very gay-friendly restaurant.
Right.
That gays hung out at. And it was known to be a gay-friendly bar. Mm-hmm. The past few times I've been there were more straight people there than there were gay.
I'll say that.
And it took away that comfortability. It took away that I'm with my people. It takes that away, and people don't understand that.
Now, what about the area? How do you feel about the Cooper Young area? Do you feel like that's gay friendly, or what?
It is for the white man.
I hear that too. There's a difference.
There's a difference.
Yeah. Because I would also say that there's a difference between a simply liberal space and a gay-friendly space, and then there's a difference between a gay-friendly space and a space that is friendly to Black gay people.
Agree.
And I would argue that all that is just liberal space, but go ahead.
And I can tell you are like me. We are, neither of us are those people that are racially biased. Like, I don't have to be around Black people. I don't have to be around white people. I can be around Hispanics and they will love the dick. Okay. But when it comes to truth and when it comes to reality, that's what it is. You know what I'm saying? And that brings up another question. A lot of my fans and followers ask me, why don't I shoot more with other races? I don't have the accessibility to the other races.
Well, that seems interesting, considering that you get most of your your lovers from Twitter. So what do you make of that? Because I'm sure there's some damn white twinks that love them some BBC in Memphis.
I've had some of them to hit me up, and they were the would've and could've.
Explain.
I would do this with you, but if I do, I would be disowned.
Oh, do they mean on tape or in general?
Both.
Okay.
Because of the platform I'm on now, they're afraid of being with me for exposure, even if it's off camera.
I've heard similar things about white girls in porn too, even in straight porn.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm.
this whole idea of being with black men messing up your pay rate or whatever.
Yes, and being disowned by the family. Like, you let a black man fuck you on camera? We can't leave you no money. Go let him give it to you. He's the one fucking you with that big old dick that I can't get none of. That's the part they don't say. That's the part they don't say.
I'm sure they don't. Okay. Now we talked about sex parties last time. You attend any sex parties in Atlanta?
Yes, I actually hosted one with
Really?
Understand. Yeah.
Wait, who
I
did
really well, huh?
What'd you say? Say it one more time.
I hosted one with Understand Trap. So, like, gay parties are very popular in the gay community because sex is very popular in the gay community. So anytime you have prides or gay functions in a city for a weekend, there will be lots of sex parties. Mm-hmm. Now, some of these sex parties were charging people $75, $85 per head to get in. And don't think they weren't fooled.
Right.
They were fooled. But you let me try to throw a sex party in Memphis that charges $80 a head. Who gonna be there besides me?
If I get a discount, I'll come through.
See? Yeah. These children. You have you heard of Nubian Dukes?
Nubian Dukes, no. Now keep in mind,
so Nubian Dukes is from New York. Okay. They're a known company that does male parties. That's what I call it. And New York, after their numbers were really, really high, they shut everything down.
Right.
So Nubian Dukes traveled on down to Atlanta, where shit was still going on. And so now they've set up shop in Atlanta. I went to Nubian Dukes Friday night. Oh my God. When I tell you, baby, it was over 200 men in that building. And I'd be willing to bet you at least 190 of those 200 men were very attractive. Mm. Mm. I paid $25 myself. Mm. But it's also a place where you can go and be around like-minded people.
Right.
Yeah.
You don't always have to be the one having sex. Sometimes it's just good to be in the presence.
Especially when you're somebody like me, because you got people that want you to prove yourself in front of other people.
Now, did anything like that happen to you over the weekend? Were you recognized in this party?
Yes. Now, the party that I hosted with Trap, right. Understand. It was a lot of people there because I was on the flyer, and so a lot of people came because I was going to be there. I just can't fuck everybody at the party. I can't fuck everybody at the party. My dick will not allow it.
Oh, and some people came thinking that they get a shot to fuck you because you're on. Oh. Mm.
I still have standards too. I mean, oops. Okay.
Well, you said everybody was fine there, so shit.
No, that was the Nubian Dukes party.
Oh.
I mean, not that everybody wasn't fine at me and Chap's party. I didn't say that.
Okay.
But and, you're still gonna have people that you're not attracted to that want you to have sex. How do you tell somebody? So, let's say you met somebody on Jack'd. Jack'd is a common app that gays use to meet and to hook up. Let's say you met. I'm sure you have. We all have. And you know what? In a city like Memphis, Jack'd is all some people have.
That's for damn sure.
Because even me, even though I'm a porn, I do porn, I can't just go into Walmart and ask somebody, can we have sex? Or, hey, you're a nice looking guy. He may think his deacon is standing on the next aisle and and say, I'm not gay. Nigga, you gay. Excuse me. Sir, you're gay. Like, but you just, so Jack is all some people have. So, oh God. What would you do if you met somebody off jacked? He came to your house. He didn't look like his pictures. And his intent was to have sex. How would you turn him down?
Well, everyone's saying that they 5'11". Let me just put that. Everybody's not 5'11" with an 8-inch penis. One.
8 inches? That's all they gotta have?
That's all they saying and don't have that. But that's neither here nor there.
Yes, it is, because apparently you like the 8. So you could do the 11 and a half?
I do whatever love allows me to do and light allows me to do. But with that being said, you were asking a question about if someone comes over to the house and they don't fit the description. We exchange a drink. I make, non-aggressive conversation and then encourage them to go on with their day.
But this person has driven 30 minutes just to see you.
Well, keep in mind, part of mine, I consider it defense mechanisms.
Okay.
My defense mechanisms start working long before they get to the house. So if you start answering questions in questionable or aggressive ways, you ain't getting over here no way. If you ain't sending pictures that look like they were taken by a real person within the last 6 months, you ain't getting over here no way.
Okay. It's a little different for me. Because of the business side,
right?
It outweighs my personal wants. I always question, what if I say no to the wrong person?
Is there a wrong person to say no to?
Yes, it is.
How so?
What if the person I say no to is my biggest supporter on OnlyFans?
Well, are they really your biggest supporter if they can't take a no?
They can tip me on OnlyFans.
It's funny. So when thinking about oppression in different groups, we share a lot of commonalities. So it's interesting to see when talking to men who engage in sex work, how they talk about it is very similar to how oftentimes women talk about day-to-day issues with men in rape culture. So like, I'm linking you saying, what, I can't say no to this one person because this one person may be my biggest whatever. And I hear that likened to what a lot of women go through, as in, I couldn't say no because of yada yada. And so one thing that I'm kind of finding connections with that's deeper than gender or even race or sexuality is that the more oppressed you are, the more common these issues come up. Because keep in mind, me as a bottom, I feel like I'm in some of the same interactions with men day to day. Like,
you are.
Because when you ask me, what do you do when one comes over that you don't want? And I said, have non-aggressive conversation. Because I know not to have any type of conversation that can move that thing now that I've opened up my house.
So what if you start to think, but man, I spent 2 hours preparing for sex with this person.
Well, your process must be more intensive than mine.
It was a big day. You had a lunch at work. You had a big potluck at work, and somebody cooked soup, and you didn't realize everybody was going to be throwing bowls of soup at you in front of your face, and you're going to be eating it, even though you were saving yourself. you decided, oh well, fuck it, I'll just give it. I'm not gonna find nobody, no way. And then just so happened you found somebody 30 minutes later.
Pause. I know my cycle,
Really?
which is why I don't have sex between the hours of 8 a.m. and 10 a.m. Two, two, I don't eat at employee potlucks for the reasons that we're talking about. And for two, if you were talking to, or for three, if you're talking to Seth at 19, you would have had me. Seth at 32, bitch, if I don't feel like it, your ass ain't coming over.
See, once again, that's probably coming from that's coming from a non-sex worker, okay? See, when you're like, it's different. Let's say you were a sex worker, or you were somebody in Atlanta this past weekend, and you knew sex was gonna be going on all damn day. I saw plenty of people had not eaten since Tuesday, and it was Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
Because they wanted to make sure that when Memphis folks went in, he didn't come out with nothing but cream.
I'll bring this up. So I'm hearing 200 dudes at a party. What type of location is this? Is this a house? Is this a...
No. It was like a warehouse thing. Like it's a local establishment. It's there.
Okay.
Like it was in a like a storefront building.
There's have you ever been to Impact?
Yes.
There's a BDSM club here that I've never been to.
In Memphis?
Yeah. I thought it was called Impact.
Is it for gay men?
No, it's for straight folks.
Oh well, no, I ain't never been here. Don't want to go.
Well, that leads me to another place though. Then how is that part of what separates Memphis from Atlanta? Is that these type of scenes don't happen or happen less frequently?
In Memphis, they either don't happen or they happen less frequently, because it's not as acceptable, or it's so hush hush that nobody knows about it.
And I guess if there's something happening, you would be in the know, huh?
I better be. I better.
Well, so people that are watching, that's how you know ain't nothing going on in Memphis, because Memphis strokes going to Atlanta.
I've been to a few parties in Memphis, but and my desire to take my sex career is to have something like that. But in Memphis, I don't know so much.
Yeah, why aren't you hosting them? They can start as casual house parties, tea parties.
I can host it in Memphis with 20 people, or I could go to DC, Atlanta, Dallas, Houston, Chicago. I could keep going.
Memphis, though.
It wouldn't, but I would make so much more money because
We're talking about Memphis.
Good luck. Good luck.
So I can start a sex party franchise.
Not in Memphis. No. You'd probably have a difficult time even getting it up and running because the community wouldn't accept it.
Once I find out that there's an underground Black gay sex scene, I'm gonna tell you, and you're gonna be shocked.
No, I'm not. I'm going to know that it has to be a certain type of people there that I probably don't want to go to it. I want to, if it's open and you don't have to be a part of a certain crowd to go to it, I'd go. That's the other thing about Memphis. Memphis got these different crowds. They got the I'm better than that crowd. They've got the, I'm a freak crowd, and people tend to look down on those people.
Okay, so would say it's somewhat sexually repressed here in Memphis, even though there's a bunch of freaks. Folks are quiet about it, and
Yeah.
thanks to the big role that the church plays in Memphis and how it's structured. Was it Kojic that's home to Memphis?
Right here in Memphis. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you know,
But Memphis also has some very well known, very popular people that work in the sex field. You know, Chino Black and his boyfriend Rico Black.
I went to high school with Chino Black. He went to Cordova with me.
You so sad.
Yeah,
Memphis is not like Atlanta. Those people, we don't network here together. We don't do things. Most people don't even know those people. Don't even know those people live here. Like people ask me, do I still live in like? Hey, you still live in Memphis? Like, where? Why would my name be Memphis Strokes if I didn't live in Memphis?
Well,
I would be.
It should be Oakland Strokes, but that's a different conversation for another day.
It is. I would be Atlanta Strokes if I lived in Atlanta. I'm in Memphis, kind of, sort of.
Again,
Kind of.
I'm Cordova Strokes.
Ooh, okay. Are you stroking?
No, not at all. Not even a little.
I was going to say you're a top. No.
No.
Don't be. Okay, good.
Okay. So, wait.
Moving on past.
I'm not thinking about you. The thing that I wanted to ask you about that I know you didn't want me to ask you about is now talk to me about, did anyone bring up the fact that we are in a pandemic while they were in this warehouse with 200 niggas with no mask and no draws?
Let me take you back to the word you used. Gay black men, I ain't gotta use black. Gay men have been oppressed way longer than COVID-19.
Okay.
That's the new thing for the heterosexual community. That doesn't bother us. We have more to be concerned about than COVID. And we've learned to adjust to those things. So COVID's another one of those things under our belt that we'll deal with it as it comes.
So no one mentioned COVID at the sex party.
Why would you mention it? They didn't mention it to me either.
Why would you mention herpes at a sex party? Yeah.
They didn't mention it either. So, I mean, why would they mention COVID?
Well, there it is. So can you think of anything that we didn't discuss in our first interview or this interview about sex life, sex work, the scene, being a black gay man in Memphis or in the South or, you know, in the world?
I do think people underestimate the sex business because of certain reasons, but it's way more money in the sex business than people give attention to it. If you think about it, if a marriage doesn't have sex, what is it?
A friendship? I don't know. A legal partnership.
You're gonna need something at some point in time to keep your marriage stimulated, and that's whether it's hetero or a homo marriage or a like relationship. So, what are you gonna do when you need stimulation? You're gonna buy a toy, or you're gonna watch porn. Somebody has to make it.
Oh, that's you went around the mountain to bring it back to that. Okay. So you feel because people need the porn, you're making the porn. So don't you sound like a dope man?
It will always be here. It ain't going nowhere. It ain't going nowhere. It's gonna be here. So somebody's got to make that money. Why not me? Especially if you come with the criteria you need.
And I think I'll let the people fill in the blank of what that can possibly mean.
I think they can see it. Most of it, anyway.
In episode 2 of the COVID Chronicles, I'll talk to Michael Riley, a Gender and Sexuality Center director, about Chicago, Minnesota, and the Black church.